when I said yes. That's the day I'll never forget. So when my faith is running short and I need divine support, I go back to the time when you called me, when I said yes, when I said yes, when I said yes. That's the day I'll never forget.
Let's welcome Reverend Angela Geary.
All right. The men have set me up nicely. Thank you, Craig. Beautiful poem. I love that one. And thank you, Sonny and Lee. I said yes. All right. So here we are, freedom from discord. It's an inside job, right? From the inside out. So you've probably heard this story before, but it comes to mind. It's a story of a crumbling monastery nestled in the hills somewhere that used to be quite vibrant and alive. And over the years, it got run down. The building itself got run down. The paint was peeling off the walls, and the wood was looking dingy, and the gardens were overgrown, and the paintings were fading, and the monks themselves were a little jaded and tired. They were kind of not so into the Dharma or not so lit up by it anymore. And they were, though it just lacked luster and vitality. And that energy kind of kept people away. People weren't coming and stopping by anymore. There were no new novices. And it felt like it was dying. And the abbot sort of thought about it, and he was distressed about it, and decided that he was going to go to the woods and meet this wise old woman who lived there, who was known to be a seer and someone who had great wisdom. So he went to the woods, to the forest, and met her and asked her, what to do. Here's the situation. And she thought for a while, and she said, I don't know. But what I do know is there's a Messiah, a bodhisattva, a holy one amongst you in that monastery. So he went back and shared that with the monks. And things slowly and subtly, maybe not so subtly, started to change. Because they all started to look at each other and wonder, is he the bodhisattva? Is Brother John the Holy One, the divine light? Is Brother Stephen, who is a wonderful cook but tends to be really lazy, is he the bodhisattva? Is he the Holy One? And after a while, the monastery, a transformation started to happen in the monastery. And the monks started to wake up a bit. There was an aliveness and a vibrancy to them. And they started to look at each other with new eyes. They started to see beyond the flaws and the imperfections. They started to look through the eyes without judgment and see something different in each person. Something light filled the monastery. And slowly the vibrancy started coming back, and people started to feel drawn to the lightness and the brightness, the energy in the place. And more people started coming, and a few people got the gardens taken care of and tended to, And it took a little while for the physical building to start to change, but there was just a rippling of something precious in there. Because what the monks had realized is, that we're not on this journey alone. We're on it together in oneness. And that when we practice kindness, and when we practice seeing each other with the eyes of love, something wonderful and transformational happens. It's the energy of namaste. Namaste. The light in me greets the light in you. And I love that, so many different types of people perhaps are taking yoga and stuff like that nowadays. And everybody does the namaste at the end. It's becoming more and more this collective, this namaste. And what it really acknowledges, I think, this namaste energy, and it's the energy that's spread throughout the crumbling monastery clearly, is this shared humanity. It's a shared humanity. We share the light together. And that when and as we come back to remembering that, we're free. We're free within our own beings. We're free to see without what Tara Brach calls our spacesuit, right? This body and these thoughts and these feelings and this conditioning that we're bombarded with from the moment we come into being, right? We've forgotten who we truly are. Rumi says, whoever comes into being gets lost in being, drunkenly forgetting their way home. Whoever comes into being gets lost in being. We forget who we are. We're here to remember our namaste, our shared humanity. So how can we see, and this is like the monks started to practice, seeing past people's masks and affiliations, seeing past and beyond behaviors and words, and to be willing to meet each other and all beings around us with new eyes and fresh eyes, to not get jaded in our seeing of people. It's so easy to have a fixed idea about someone and already listening, right? Oh, they're, fill in the dot. He's, fill in the dot. They are, and we sometimes just can't see beyond that. And yet there is a yearning. And that's really, I think, what we're seeing in the world right now. There's a yearning to come back to this light of awareness, this shared humanity, this oneness, this beauty that we all share, right? We long for that. Tara Brach tells a story of a Buddhist teacher who was mugged in New York City. And he was mugged at gunpoint. And he immediately gave the mugger $600, and the mugger pointed the gun at him and said, I'm going to shoot you. He said, no, don't do that. Here, take my watch. And he took his watch off his wrist and gave it to the mugger. And he said, I'm going to shoot you. He said, no, here, take my whole wallet. And still this man was kind of crazed, the mugger. He said, I'm going to shoot you. And this guy, and I think his name was Phil, somebody, the Buddhist teacher, said, no, don't do that. You've done good. You've got my watch. You've got $600. You've got my wallet. You did good. And the mugger, this is a true story, the mugger says, I did good. And he said, yes, you did good. You can go home, go back and tell your friends that you did good. And the mugger walked away muttering, I did good. I did good. I did good. We long to be seen, all beings, for the innate goodness that we are, for the divine love that we are. And in that moment that the man that was being mugged had the presence of, I would say, consciousness to see that person not as just a mugger, but as another being, as a being who yearned to be recognized, as a being who yearned to know that underneath it all he was good. So we move in to this place inside where nothing stands in the way of us seeing the light of spirit, the light of the divine. It's like the dog that stopped barking. When we see that, the people around us stop barking. When we see that, people around us, and even not so around us, start shining a different light. It's the namaste. The light in me recognizes the light in you, no matter how heavily disguised it may be, right? So can I see past my already listening and my judgments of what's going on out there in the world? That doesn't mean I agree with it or like it. But can I go past all of that with the players right now who are rumbling us all up, right? Because the light is in everybody. You know, Valerie Kaur says, there are no monsters in the world. There are only those that have forgotten the one light and the ones that embrace it. We're all joined with that. Let's take a breath. We're joined. And we're united, and when we know that, there is no discord. When we know that, we are free. When we know that, we grant each other our sovereignty. So as I've shared before when I've been here, I've been reading this book, still reading it, Sage Warrior by Valerie Kaur. It's a very powerful book. And it's the story of the Sikh tradition, which was born from a place of oneness. You know, Craig talked about the caste system in India and the Tukaram being against that. The Sikhs were a bunch of people that were made up of Hindus and Muslims and people from all castes that did not buy into the caste system, did not buy into this idea of either you're a Muslim and a Hindu. And they came together in oneness. And they came together in sacred places, singing and praying. And the book is a history of all the different gurus that came in over the years. It was started in the 14th century. And in the 16th century, this particular guru called Guru, I've forgotten his name. Let me just check. Hargobind came into succession, and each guru represented a quality or divine quality. And his was power. And it is said that he, in his inauguration or whatever, he had 2 swords. And swords in the Sikh tradition are not weapons necessarily. They're the tools that we use for change. The tools that we use to make change. And he had two swords. One was Piri, the power within, and the other Miri, the power in the world. And he talked about sovereignty, freedom from the inside out. Freedom from the inside out. Seeing the oneness, singing songs of freedom. Living a life of the Sikh mantra is, no matter what, keep singing, praying, serving. Singing, praying, serving. And he was, this guru was imprisoned. He was taken by the emperor because he had so many followers. The emperor was threatened by him. And he was thrown into a prison with 52 other kings who had gone against the regime and were in prison too. And after the first, as nightfall fell, the Guru Hargobind started singing sweet songs. And it was said, and these are true stories, it was said that there was like a sheen in the darkness and a vibrancy and breath started to fill the cell. And the other prisoners started to sing along with them, and they were lifted. And the guards started to hear the singing because he kept it up almost the whole time he was in there, and they were lulled and moved by the songs. And the guards joined in the singing. And one of the guards took the song, and one of the songs goes like this. First, and it's translated, so it's a little, first the beloved birthed the light to nature. All beings belong. From one light, the entire universe welled up. So who is good and who is bad? From the one light, the entire universe welled up. And Valerie Kaur, she's writing this, said that as that sheen happened in the darkness, it was not the darkness of the tomb, but the darkness of the womb that was felt in that cell. The darkness of the womb of new birth, of light coming in, of staying committed no matter what to songs of freedom, to songs of oneness, to prayer, to high energy. And the villagers around started to hear the songs and join in. And one night, Guru Hargobind Guru H, let's call him that, started to hear a rumbling outside. And he looked outside, and hundreds of his devotees and followers and much more had set up an encampment right outside the prison. And they set up they had a kitchen, they had a school for the children, they had, what else did they have? They set up a camp. They were there for 5 years, singing, praying, serving, singing and praying and serving. Peaceful protests. It is said the Sikhs didn't need weapons. Their weapons were their numbers and their songs. The weapons was their energy, the energy and the consciousness of staying high no matter what, no matter what. So one day, because so many people were gathered in this encampment and because all the neighboring villages were singing these songs and supporting this guru, the emperor one day rode in his big horse and kind of declared that the guru was to be freed. And he said, I'll only be freed if all the other 52 prisoners with me can be freed. And the emperor said, well, if they can all hold on, if each of the 52 prisoners can hold on to a piece of your coat, whatever prisoners can hold on to a piece of your coat, they will be freed with you. And so the guru went back to his cell and prayed all night, meditated, sang, how would it be possible for 52 people to hang on to his coat? And word got out to the neighboring villages what had happened. And when he woke up in the morning, I always get choked up at this. When he woke up in the morning, there was this most beautiful, splendid, dark blue cloak with 52 tassels on it that the villagers had sewn and made for him overnight. And he walked out of the prison with each of the other prisoners holding on to a tassel. And the people cheered. And he said, how come you did all this for me? And they said, because you showed us that a sage warrior leaves no one behind. A sage warrior leaves no one behind. And I think that's the energy we're all in right now as we stand up for the rights of our fellow people, as we stand up for justice, as we stand up for, emancipation. It's not just for ourselves that we're marching. It's not just for ourselves that we're praying. It's for all of humanity. Sonny was just telling me on the way up a story about, he just came back from New York, how when ICE, where did they go? Just in wherever they went into the neighborhoods, to Brooklyn. ICE went in, the Haitian community rose up and said, no, you can't come in here. And there was pictures of them actually kind of putting their arms around ICE agents and shepherding them out. You're not welcome here. That's that energy of no one gets left behind. The sage warrior. We're in this together. And so he rode home, the guru rode home to Amritsar, which is where his community and his Sikh congregation lived. And it is said that he became, they called him, sorry. You can always take a breath. They shouted his name in joyful jubilation. They called him a sage of limitless love, a warrior who leaves no one behind. And that day was deemed Liberation Day. And here's what she says when the peaceful protests were happening outside the jail. This was more than a protest. It was a world, their world, a model for what the whole world could be. And they built it right outside the gates of the prisons. The Sikhs did not need weapons. Their power was in their numbers and in their song. I take comfort in that. They were there for 5 years, but they didn't give up the hope. They knew that singing and praying and serving and gathering together in sacred community would change things eventually. So let's take heed of that, right? Because Valerie says, the way we make change is as important as the change we make. The way we make change. Discord doesn't mean rising up in rage and anger. It means what the Sikhs knew, standing anchored on solid ground in the practices that keep consciousness high, that keep us aligned with a higher vibration. And it means trusting that. And there are many ways each and every one of us can do that. And I want to read just a paragraph from the book. Seeing as I lugged it all the way here and it's a big heavy book, I have to read from it now. A warrior is anyone who takes courageous action to protect, create, and sustain life with their life. There are many ways to warrior. I love that, to warrior, a verb. And many tools we can use when we warrior. Pens and paintbrushes, megaphones and microscopes, cameras and codes, pocketbooks and platforms. We can all become warriors right where we are, in the place of influence we have, with the resources available to us. We can choose to use our tools to fight for others, for humanity, for the earth, for ourselves. In a world on fire, we must. So we return to what Acharya Shunya calls the sovereign self. She wrote that book, The Sovereign Self. And the sovereign self is that of which we've been speaking. It's self-governed when we're in that place. When we're in that place of namaste, the light in me greets the light in you. The sovereign self is grounded, is anchored. The sovereign self is lit up from the inside out. The sovereign self stands in freedom from judgment, from bondage, from seeing through anything other than clear, pure eyes. The sovereign self emits an energy of compassion and love and understanding in the world, and gives other people permission, and indeed encourages and almost creates a space where others can shine their light so brightly too. Deep breath. Our most ardent task is to refuse to let them touch the sovereign space inside us, for that is the truest place of wisdom. It's the truest place of freedom, too. So we anchor ourselves in our sovereign self. We anchor ourselves in namaste energy. We know we're powerful. Where two or more are gathered in the name of love, beauty, truth, and goodness, and all sorts of miracles and magic happen. We trust in a higher power. We keep our practices going. We keep communing with each other. And we stand in beauty. One other little piece as I finish off here is, the wisdom keepers, the Navajos, had to find a way to counteract the harsh realities and conditions of their world. And they knew they had to harness their inner pain and use it as a way to be in the world and anchor themselves in something greater than the challenges and difficulties that they were dealing with. And they devised something called the beauty prayer. And the beauty prayer was more than words. It was a vibration. It was an energy that lifted them, that reminded them. And here's the beauty prayer, by the way. The beauty that you live with, the beauty that you live by, the beauty upon which you build your life. That when they anchored themselves in that, they knew that there was something greater than the challenges they were facing. When they anchored themselves in that, they knew this too shall pass. When they anchored themselves in that beauty, they could see beauty that is always happening. And you and I can hold both. We can be and see the challenges and the separation and all the stuff that's going on in the world. We don't deny it. And we can see the beauty in this moment. The beauty of that little dog right there. The beauty of the music. The beauty of the way Craig recites poetry from his soul. The beauty I'm seeing as I look out in each and every one of your eyes. The beauty of this present moment we're all engaged in. It's beautiful. Not to mention the beauty of the trees and the hills and the sun and the moon and the stars and Mother Nature in all her glory. Beauty. We can hold beauty. Let's do that prayer together. Let's change it to I. I'll say a line, and if you feel like it, repeat it. The beauty that I live with. The beauty that I live by. the beauty upon which I build my life. Beautiful. So she asks, how do we protect our own sense of wisdom and freedom from the critics and controllers? It begins within. It all begins within. There's a Messiah in us. There's a divine light in each and every one of us. That's the only mistake the monastery made. They kept looking outside for the light, the monks. Who could it possibly be? It was all of them. And it was inside. And it's inside us. We are the ones. We are the light. We are freedom. We are divine power. So let us pray. Let us sing. Let us dance. Let us chant. Let us serve and be lifted together. Namaste. So let's breathe in this one light, this one love. Let us feel this freedom, this sovereignty, this divine presence everywhere and everyone and everything. Let us come home to our sovereign self. Let us come home to the light of unity and oneness and peace and joy. Let us know that this energy, this vibration of spirit reverberates through all of creation, shining forth as me and shining forth as each and every one of us and all beings everywhere. We are the light. We are the light in this world. We are born to be free. We are born to be one. And so what I am knowing for us today is perhaps we just take some comfort or some knowledge from these ancient teachings. And we become warriors in our own little corner of the world. We know that there's no action, no warring too small or too great. And that perhaps the best thing we can do right now is shine our light, is to be the light, to be the love, to be the freedom, to be the joy that we're born to be, to stand in our sovereign self, self-governed, clear. I know we continue to be divinely led and divinely guided in our own personal lives and in the collective life of the world right now. I know that peace is greater than chaos and war. I know that unity is greater than separation. I know that joy is greater than sorrow. And I know that freedom rings at a much higher vibration and is much greater than bondage. And we hang tight to what we know to be true. We hang tight to our practices. And we wait with joyful expectation as the light is born one by one, as each soul catches a light from another soul until enough souls know this truth and change happens. And it's happening already now. And it starts within us. Thank you, Spirit, for the light that we are. I'm so grateful that everything and all that we need lies within us. I'm grateful that we have the tools for change embedded in our DNA. Grateful that the power and the glory and the beauty and the freedom of spirit lives and moves and has its being through us all. And I release my word and I release all of our highest intentions to the very soul of the universe, the divine feminine herself, that nurtures and nourishes and agrees wholeheartedly with all that is spoken. And in her own beautiful, perfect way and time, she gives birth to it. Just like the guru was finally set free, we are set free. And so it is. Amen.
can say something most of you can't. Thanks, honey. Okay. What a precious time we live in now as we gather in this room. We feel the Spirit deep within us by the things we say and what we do. I feel the Spirit in me. I feel the Spirit in me. I feel the Spirit in me. God's love has taken hold. We got enough love to find the magic. We got enough love to make things happen. We got enough love to open heaven's door. What a precious time we live in now as we gather in this room. We feel the Spirit deep within us by the things we say and what we do. I got the Spirit in me. I got the Spirit in me. I got the Spirit in me. God's love has taken hold. I know you know I'm gonna ask you to sing. Get ready to do that. Together we can make love ring. I know we can. I got the Spirit in me. 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 God's love has taken hold. There's nothing higher than love. There's nothing higher than love. There's nothing higher than love. Nothing higher than love. Everybody. I got the Spirit in me. Thank you. I got the Spirit in me. Ooh. I got the Spirit in me. I got the Spirit in me. We got enough love to make things happen. We got enough love to find the magic. We got enough love to open heaven's door. Let's take it home. I got the Spirit in me. Yes, I got the Spirit in me. I got the Spirit in me. I got the Spirit in me. God's love has taken hold. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonny.
Yes. Welcome. Thank you.
I feel your soul and heart in your songs.
Mm,
They're very touching,
thank you.
very sincere.
Mhm.
And Lee, our music director, so
Calling the
taking the supporting role. You're so amazing. And Jim, being here. And Reverend Angela, thank you so much. Many, many things woven together in a way like Reverend Guy does. All these parts, the poem, the stories, all coming to a beautiful, inspiring message. Thank you. And of course, thank all of you for being here. And this is your opportunity in a very financial, material way to thank the Hilltop Center just by supporting it financially with your currency, that flow of life known as money. So I'm just thanking you right now from my heart, knowing that what you give nourishes this community, allows us to flourish and continue to be abundant, to be thriving. And as we know, as we give, so do we receive. So thank you so much.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
All right. Thanks so much for being here. Let's take a big breath in. All the energy. And I'm so grateful for Hilltop Center for Spiritual Living. Grand idea from the mind of spirit. We remember beloved Reverend Guy, knowing he's with us in spirit as he shares his ministry and his wisdom elsewhere today. I'm grateful for the beauty of this congregation, for the oneness, the love, for the light, for the caring, and for the sharing. And we keep on keeping on, being the sage warriors that we're born to be. And we go forth shining our light brightly wherever we go and feeling that light of spirit, and perhaps just remembering that beauty prayer when we need to draw upon something to anchor us. With joyful celebration, I let it be, and so it is. Amen.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. For the poor and hungry folks, I'm gonna let it shine. For the poor and hungry folks, I'm gonna let it shine. For the poor and hungry folks, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, woo, I'm gonna let it shine every day. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Lee. One light. Yes. Yes.